Hi guys, and welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, in our last video we created this hover effect with some images. You've got another slide in image there with a lightbox effect. Today we've got another little image hover effect for you today. Two images at the top there when you hover over. You've got some text that pops up, you've got a dark background that pops up, and when you click on it, it's going to give us a lightbox effect. Now we do have to do a bit of coding to do this today, but don't let that put you off. Any coding that I do today I'll put down below and you're welcome to use it as you wish. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is enable the Visual Builder so we can build on the front end. Okay, and let's go down. I've got a section here, blue tab. Inside I've got a row, the green tab with two columns in it, 1 and 2. Let's just delete this one we've got here and we'll start from scratch. So I'm going to add a new module. Divi comes as standard with all these modules. It gives you a dozen extra as well if you've got WooCommerce installed. I'm looking for the image module. It's right there. Going to left click, pop it in. It's going to prompt us to add an image. Let's pop an image in there. Guess I'll use the same one as I did before. Okay, and if you want a lightbox effect, just down below the image there we've got a link box. You can flip the little switch to on here for a lightbox. If you want a regular link that takes people to somewhere, put your link in there. You can have either or. You can't have both. You can either have a lightbox or a link. Best practice as always, if you're linking to your own site, keep it in the same window. If you're linking off-site, open it in a new tab so that your site stays open. For me, I want a lightbox effect, so I'm going to delete the link and just flip that to on. Great. So we've got an image. When we click on it, it's going to pop out into a lightbox effect. And you may notice when I hover over that, it's got a little N7 that pops up there. That's the actual name of the image. If you don't want that to pop up, when you hover over it, go to your Advanced tab, down to Attributes. There's the actual title right there. You can simply just delete that if you don't want that to pop up. Or you can put in something that you do want to pop up if you want something else there. Great. Okay, well now we're in the Advanced tab. This is where our coding comes in. And just above Attributes, we've got Custom CSS here. We open that up. We've got some boxes: before, main element, after. I'm going to use the after. You could use before just as well, but I'm going to use the after today. And I've got to tell it I want some content in there. So I'm going to say content, colon. Then I'm going to open some inverted commas. And inside the inverted commas, you can put whatever text it is that you want to put in over your image. So text goes here. And if you want to add a bit more than that, let's just copy a bit from over here. Let's grab this. Now I'll just paste that after, so we've got a bit more text there. At the moment you can't see anything there because we haven't told it where it's got to go. We've told it what it is but not where to go. That's what we're going to do next. So right after that I'm going to put a semicolon. Always put a semicolon after a line of code or it won't read the next line. So I'm going to tell it we've got to absolutely position it, so it's got to stay put. So I'm going to say position colon absolute semicolon. Now where do we want it? Well, I want it halfway down and halfway across, so basically it's going to be in the middle. So I'm going to say top colon 50%, it's 50% down from the top, semicolon, and left 50% also, colon 50%. Now you can see it right there. It's a mess. It's the wrong color. All the words are jumbled on top of each other. So let's firstly get it in the right place. If you look at the left corner of this, that is smack dab in the center of our image because we positioned it top 50 and left 50. To get it truly in the center so that we're in the middle of this and the middle of the image, I'm going to use a bit of transform translate to pull it 50% down of its height and 50% along of its width, which will pop it right in the middle there. So let's say transform semicolon, translate. And this way we can move it. I want to open some round brackets after the E of translate there with no gap. And I'm going to do negative 50% for both height and width. So I'm going to say negative 50%, comma, and another negative 50%. So we've got height and width there. And as you can see, that's now in the middle, which is where it wants to be. But it's all jumbled up on top of each other because we've given all this code here. We haven't told the font how big it wants to be, what color it wants to be, or any line height. So first things first, let's sort out some font size. I want mine to be about 20 pixels. So let's put a semicolon there. Font dash size, colon. I'm going to say 20 pixels. That'll work for me. Obviously you put in whatever size you want. That's made it bigger, but it's still a mess there. Now I know my fonts are 20 pixels high, so line height, to separate those lines, I'm going to make about 25 pixels. That way we'll have about 5 pixels separation in between. So let's say line height dash height. Let's try 25 pixels. That's better. That's spread it out a bit. I kind of want mine center aligned. It's left aligned at the moment, so let's do that. Semicolon, text align, colon, center, put it in the middle there, semicolon. That's more like it. I think I want mine to be white, so I'm going to say color, white, which is FFF. There we go, that's turned it white. Now I can't really read that. Let's put a semicolon on the end of there, because it's getting a little bit lost in the background there. And I kind of want it to take up a little bit more of the space there. So let's give it a width. And I'm going to make it a little bit wider so that text spreads out a bit. So I'm going to say width. I'm going to say about 80%. So it should be 80% of the width. That's spread it out there. Now, that writing's still getting lost in that light background there. It's okay over the dark. So what we could do is give it a background overlay color. So let's put a semicolon in there. And I'm going to say background. I'm going to make it black. Hashtag 000. And there you can see it black. If I add the other 3 zeros, because black is actually 6 zeros, but with CSS3 you only need to put 3 in if it's 6 of all the same. But I want it to be slightly see-through, so I can use a number from 00 up to 99 to change the opacity. I'm going to put mine to about 60 or 70%, so I'm going to put 60 at the end there. So it's 6 zeros and the 60. And as you can see, you can now read that writing, but you can see the image behind. If you want it to be darker, put a higher number in. If you want it to be lighter, put a lower number in. Let's take that back to about 70, so halfway. Great. But I'd kind of like that to cover the whole of our image there. So I can probably do that with a bit of padding. Let's put a semicolon in there. And let's say padding. I reckon that's got to be about 150 pixels top and bottom, 50 left and right. I can do 150 for both. It's going to spill out, but we'll fix that in a moment. So let's say padding, colon, 150 pixels. And as you can see, that's now covering the whole of the picture there. But something I'm not seeing here is the spillage. There should be some spilling outside. And the reason I can't see any is because I deleted this, but I didn't re-edit the column that we put it in. So let's just save what we've got here. I'm going to put a semicolon on the end there. I'm going to go into my column and undo what I should have undone in the beginning to show you what's really going on here. So if I go into my row, the green tab here, in the row we're working on column 2 here, so let's go down to column 2, go over to the advanced tab. If I go down to visibility, I've already changed my horizontal and vertical overflow to hidden. When you do yours, if you're working from scratch, it'll be on the default, like that. And that's what I wanted to show you. When I added that padding just now, it's pushed this dark background in there because we put 150 pixels top, bottom, left and right. Now of course we don't want to see any of this spilling out of the column, so Once you've got to this stage, we'll go back into the row, to our second column, and just redo what I undid there to the Advanced tab, to Visibility, and switch these to Hidden. And that'll hide any overflow, just like that. Great. So let's save our column. We'll save the row settings. We'll go back into our module now and make the actual hover effect itself, because at the moment that's going to be as it is. But we don't want to see any of that writing or the overlay really until we put our mouse over it. So let's go back into our code, the Advanced tab, Custom CSS, down to where we were working right here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this invisible now. So I'm going to go down one, I'm going to say opacity, or see-throughness, or transparency if you like. I'm going to set that to 0, which is invisible. Let's put a semicolon. As you can see, or as you can't see, it's gone. Then when we hover over it, we want to bring it back. So if we go up to the top here, and this is common to most Divi modules, if you hover over the dark legending, you'll see some icons appear. Go to the one that you want to affect, which in our case is the after here. There's a little arrow there, we can click on it. We've got a desktop version when the mouse is not on it, and a hover version when the mouse is on it. So if I click on the hover version now, I'm going to say opacity, and there's our code, and it's kind of grayed out because it's in the desktop mode, letting us know it's not active. So in hover, I want the opacity, or transparency, or see-throughness, to go back to 1, which is fully visible. And as you can see, that's popped in there. Now the time it's going to take to go from this to this is absolutely instant. Now if that works for you, fine, you're good to go. But for me, I like to slow it down for a bit of drama. And to slow it down, we can use transition duration, and we want to put this in the regular state, not the hover state. I'm going to go down, we're going to say transition dash duration colon. I'm going to give mine about 3/4 of a second, so 0.75 s semicolon. That way it's now going to take 3/4 of a second to go from this to that, which is a nice little fade in. And the last but not least thing is we've got a lightbox effect on this, and if we get the hover state up, we're not going to be able to click on it because we've got this over the top, and we want to be able to click on it to be able to pop it out into a lightbox. So last little bit of code we've got to write here is for our pointer events. We want to be able to click through that thing. So I'm going to go down, I'm going to say, let's roll this up so you can see, pointer dash events colon none, and we should be able to click through it now. Put a semicolon on the end, we should be good to go. So let's save our changes here. We'll save the page changes and exit the Visual Builder. And if we go on down, there's our little image, just the regular image. When we hover over it, we've got that background overlay and our text. And as you can see from the mouse, we're also able to click on it. So if I click on it, it's going to pop it out into the lightbox for us. If I click outside, it'll go back to how it was. So there you've got 3 little things happening. You've got a nice little overlay effect with some text there, and you've got a lightbox, and you've got a regular image. So there you go, guys. There's how to create a text over image effect with Lightbox. I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget that CSS code I've written today will be down below the video for anybody that needs to copy and paste it. Once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.